Welcome on in, everybody, to episode 11 of the New World Top Fights, a series by the community for the community, showing off some of your best PvP moments. If you have a clip that you want to see in the New World Top 5, you can send that to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. We've got some amazing players featured today, and of course, links to their channels down in the description below. And quite a few of them have build videos to their builds, so be sure to check those out if you guys want to see some more. Now, starting us off today, we've got Vito Himura playing a Sword and Shield Hammer build in heavy armor, and this build is insane. He goes for the shockwave and then dodges the incoming shockwave from the enemy, a huge 5k crit with the hammer heavy attack, and then he finishes him off with the next hit, and then just a 3k smack with the hammer again. He is doing crazy damage with this build. It looks like he's got the 300 points in Constitution, so I'm going to assume the rest are in Strength. And Vito just doing a great job using his block to tank the incoming damage and being patient, waiting for that opportunity. And he manages to get a good counter stun and force the mage into the Ice Tomb. And the enemy player goes for his shockwave. Vito just blocks that incoming attack, gets on top of the mage, hits him with the Sword and Shield hard stun into the heavy attack on the hammer. And that hammer heavy attack is doing crazy damage. Oh my god. And he sticks to the back of that guy using the Sword and Shield light attack. And the mage doesn't break that distance effectively. Vito brings him down, and now we've got the tank versus tank fight. And the enemy player already at pretty low health going into this. He goes for his Defiant stance to get that damage reduction, and Vito just stays on top of him with the Sword and Shield. And I think he wanted to go for the potion, but if he drops his block, Vito would kill him with the light attack. And down he goes. Moving on to the next clip. That's right. We've got Sword and Shield Great Axe. Heavy armor again. Wow. I don't know what's going on. Since the new patch, I've been seeing a lot of heavy armor clips from you guys and just all over the place lately. And this one is brought to us by Nyce Gaming, who is getting chased by an absolute pack of players, all shooting arrows at him at a distance here. And Nyce just using that mobility with the Sword and Shield and the Great Axe to keep his distance from this Zerg. I love having that fast weapon combo of those two together in heavy armor, just kind of offsetting the weakness that heavy does have being not as mobile. And one player ends up overextending. Nyce just waits for him with the Sword and Shield, blocks a lot of the incoming combo, hits him with the counter hard stun as soon as he's hard locked into that animation, and then right away pulls him in with the Great Axe spin. The enemy player trying to get away there, and Nyce ends up reaping him. Beautiful swap into the shield there to block the incoming heavy attack from the Greatsword player, not only preventing him from doing that damage, but that'll prevent him from getting an onslaught stance too. And then Nyce just keeping up the pressure on this guy, sticking to him with the light attacks from the Sword and Shield, trying to get back on top of him with the Great Axe. The enemy Greatsword player does get the counter stagger there, and the Greatsword player just manages to break the distance and get to the potion in time. And Nyce just stays right on top of him. Those potions are on cooldown, so he's going to try to keep the pressure on here. He goes into his Defiant stance and starts feeding him those light attacks. The third hit of the light attack will cripple, so that's going to be a great thing for a slower heavy armor build to help them stay on top of somebody. And the enemy player trying to break some distance there. Nyce just gets right on top of him with the Great Axe gap closer, pulling him in with the Reap and a light attack to bring the Greatsword player down. And now he's got the Archer and the Fire Mage, and he's been absorbing the range pressure from these guys for a while now, so he knows that he can be aggressive and put the pressure on. The enemy Fire Mage trying to get away, switching to his Ice Gauntlet. Nyce closes that gap, and there is the pull from Reap. Down he goes, and now it is just the Archer, and he is panicking so hard. This guy's on his spear bar, not his bow bar, trying to roll away. Oh my god, I don't think he was expecting that to turn out the way it did. Nyce breaks his block, and down he goes. Now, moving on to the next clip, we have got VexxPK. He is playing Light Armor, Ice Gauntlet, and Void Gauntlet. A very interesting build in today's very ranged heavy meta, because Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet are arguably close-ranged weapons. So, let's see how Vex does. Right away picking up one kill there, and then he goes towards the enemy Archer, starts feeding him those heavy attacks, and managing to get the attention of both the archers here. Vex goes for his explosive rune, and he tries to get on top of him. The enemy player doing a great job reading the detonate, managing to roll at the right moment. He takes no damage from that combo, and Vex is finding himself in a difficult spot here. Tons of arrows coming down on top of him, and I just love this. He's weaving back and forth. These guys can't hit him. There's one arrow that connected. Oh my god, just Crazy good. And Vex is also doing it right here. Even while he's fighting, he's constantly changing directions. He's not moving in the same direction over and over, and that makes him a very hard target to hit with the bow. And he gets into the ice tomb just in time. Oh my god, very low health there. Vex again going back into kite mode, changing directions. They're missing their shots. Oh my god, he gets around the corner in time. And then he gets to his potion, and now he jumps on top of them. Both of these players coming into melee range. The rapier player getting very close to Vex here, and Vex doing some great damage. Beautiful connection with the heavy attack off the ice gauntlet there. Very high pressure situation, and he pops out of the ice tomb, gets to the potion in time, and then right away the pressure on top of the enemy archer. That guy tries to go for his rapid shot. Vex hits him with the stagger from the ice gauntlet, and then he starts hitting him with the heavy attacks from the void gauntlet, and pretty good accuracy. That's a pretty difficult heavy, I think, to aim. And I love his reaction here.
Holy shit.
But nope, that is not the end of the fight. While Vex is standing there, I'm assuming just looking over his clip, another player comes in, sword and shield greatsword, and Vex is going to turn around, feed him the ice gauntlet right away, and he pops into the ice tomb, I think because he saw the arrow from behind, assuming he was about to eat a big combo from an archer, but that was just the NPC. And now Vex is going to fight this guy again, just hitting him with that ice spike. The enemy greatsword player going for that combo with the greatsword, though. Vex taking quite a bit of damage from it, and he turns around with the greatsword, and now, or sorry, the void blade, and now he's going to trade with this guy with sword and shield, and void blade just trades so well in melee distance. Vex just sapping the health out of him and putting a lot of pressure in the explosive rune, getting the kill there. And the fight's not done yet. Vex, again, I'm assuming is just looking over that clip, and he finds himself again getting attacked by a couple more players. The first enemy player, a healer here, Vex gets good damage in with his Void Gauntlet right off the bat, gets on top of him with the Void Blade and starts feeding him those light attacks, managing to pull enough health out of the healer there with the Void Blade to be absorbing quite a bit of punishment from the Greatsword player too, and a beautiful connection with the Ice Spike. 3 hits, I believe, there, and that guy goes down, and then Vex turns around and just annihilates that guy with the Void Blade. Oh my god. Yeah, Vex played a lot of ESO, and in ESO he loved playing life-stealing builds, so it's really cool to see him playing that Void Blade because this is right up his alley. And he engages with the enemy archer, getting right on top of him, keeping that pressure on, and the archer just hits him with the stagger there, following up with the spear stun as well, and Vex rolls right behind him, still keeping up that pressure with the Void Blade, and I love those partial charged heavies. Such a great technique to stick on top of somebody with the Void Blade. Great fight. Now, moving on to the next clip, we have got Vito Himura again, and I just had to feature 2 of his fights because it is so crazy to see such a well-played tank, and this guy, I mean, he is just rocking people with this build right off the bat. 3 enemy players jumping on top of him, and Vito just puts on the pressure, downing one of them, and getting the kill with the sword and shield to squeeze through there while he's taking that pressure as well. Really good play. And these 2 just keep the pressure on. The Hatchet player doesn't want to let Vito get away, but Vito has no intention of running. Just a beautiful job absorbing those incoming attacks from the Hatchet player. He does manage to connect that Shockwave stun, and then he hits him with that partial charged heavy right after hitting the knockback as well. I've seen that a lot from the Hammer. A great technique, I think, to land those big combos off that stun chain. And then the Firestaff player makes a mistake. He gets too close to Vito just for a moment, and Vito with a very, very hard punish. He lands a huge stun chain again, that partial charged heavy off the end of the knockback to finish that guy off. And now it is just the Hatchet player, and this guy is taking a lot of damage from Vito. He's trying very hard to get away and break that distance, but Vito is sticking right to him using that sword and shield. Really good counter stun as well, and he just gets to the great axe gap close in time. Vito's waiting a moment for his sword and shield gap close. The enemy player does manage to get the dodge there, and Vito does catch up. I think that snare from the sword and shield is doing absolute work in that situation, and the mage does come back into the fight. Vito gets caught in the ice shower, but he just stands there. He holds block. He's patient, and this combo is nuts. I mean, I don't even have words. That was so clean, so well executed, and that mage was dead from 100 to 0 from the beginning of that combo. And at this point, it just looks like these guys are not going to be able to stop Vito. He is just pounding on this poor Hatchet player. He's getting tossed all over the place, just getting out of distance from that shockwave stun. That would have been the end, and their Vito does connect. I just love how well he does sticking to these guys as well. He's just doing a really good job using the combination of snares and the distance he can go with those light and heavies. And the mage, he doesn't want any more. He just runs away. Fantastic fight. And finally, for our last fight, we have got Danny 10 times playing my personal favorite build, Fire Staff and Rapier. And he's playing Inside Outpost Rush, and he's very aggressive as he enters this fight. Burnout into the flesh, the flourish and finish, and right away taking about half the health out of the backline archer there. And Danny's not done. He gets back behind a little bit of cover, starts feeding them the pillar fires, goes for the fireball, a good connection, and this guy is trying to escape. There is a fantastic burnout to stay on top, and the flourish and finish into the evade light attack, bringing him down. And then right away, Danny goes for that detonate, catching one player in the explosion. Down he goes, and the heavy attack to finish off the player who tries to escape there. And Danny finds himself getting attacked from behind by that Void Gauntlet player. He does manage to just push this guy off of the siege. Big damage, oh my god, off of that burnout. And Danny's gonna stick to this guy, seeing how squishy he is. A quick flash to get behind, and he doesn't even survive the first part of the move. And then Danny is going right away onto the next target, an enemy healer, very squishy as well. Danny taking big damage out of him with the Fire Staff and the Rapier as he gets on top. The Hammer player doing a lot of stun pressure, just kind of forcing him off. But I love Danny's movement here, just so well done. He goes for the burnout to loop back around and stay on top of the enemy healer. And he just keeps feeding those Fire Staff heavy attacks. His accuracy with those heavies is really nice too. Taking a bit of pressure there from the enemy melee player. Danny forced just to back up a little bit and heal up. And then he does a great roll getting behind that guy. The player completely misses the attack as he turns around. And a beautiful flourish and finish into the backstabs. The enemy healer was just about to get to his heal. Danny managing to bring him down in time. And now he's got just his last opponent left here. Danny feeding him those fireballs. There is the explosion into the flourish and finish. And down he goes. And this last guy coming in at the wrong moment. Danny's going to hit him with a few heavies. The friendly player's bringing him down. Really great fight. Fantastic movement. And finally, guys, we've got a bonus clip. It is VexxPK again, coming back with that Void Gauntlet and Ice Gauntlet. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this last clip. Absolutely incredible clips from you guys. Thank you so much to the community for sending in those clips. I'll be honest, normally I have to go out and kind of hunt for clips on the Reddit and on YouTube, so this was the first episode where it was all clips that you guys sent to me, so thank you very much, guys. Of course, if you want to see some more from these fantastic content creators featured today, we've got links to everybody's channel down below. A lot of them have build videos, so if you guys want to see some builds, go and check these guys out. Of course, if you want to send in a clip for the top 5, you can send that to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. I would also love to start featuring builds again, so if you have maybe a cool build that you want to see featured on the channel, you can send that my way as well. If you want to catch me live, there's a link to my Twitch down below. And of course, you can check out my website, pvpnewworld.com, for written guides to all of my builds, as well as some other information on the game. This show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. You can get a deal with your first purchase with them. There's a link down below for you guys. And last but not least, a massive thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon for supporting the show. Thank you, everybody, just for tuning in and watching. Thank you again for sending in those fantastic clips. I hope to see you guys next time. Have a good night, everybody.